Good afternoon. I don't know whether I have started the live. I'm just confirming it. It shows it's starting. I don't know whether it started yet, but now it's started. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to today's live. Karibuni sana. It's a beautiful Friday, and it's good to be alive. I'm hoping everyone is having a good time and enjoying their Friday afternoon. Before we start, let me introduce myself. My name is Alice, though I like going by the name, the Conscious Life Coach. And I help women who are feeling overwhelmed or are feeling stuck find healing, find clarity, and regain balance in their lives. And karibuni sana, whoever will come in later, you're most welcome. Everyone else who's gonna watch on replay, karibuni sana. As usual, we are answering the questions that had been sent in the week. And feel free also to just share your questions on this post as we continue. So I think it's just best that we start, right? So karibuni sana, everyone who's coming in right now and much later, please, a very warm welcome to you guys. So let's start with the first question. Hi coach, I recently got divorced, and please kindly let me know if I need to adjust my settings. And the question is, hi coach, I recently got divorced and my self-esteem is down. I'm feeling so low. Please help. Oh, that's I'm so sorry to hear that. I think at any given point when someone is going through, a tough season, be it a breakup, be it, I don't know, a job loss, a loss of some kind, it's bound to affect your self-esteem. So I'm really sorry about that. Huh? And the idea of, let's just start on the whole broader view of what self-esteem is. And self-esteem is basically your own personal evaluation of your own worth. How do you think of yourself? Do you think you're worthy, or do you think you're not? And we tend to have either you're having a low sense of self-esteem, and a low sense of self-esteem will end up, if it goes like really badly, then it can end up in depression, because you're probably feeling you're useless, you're worthless, your life doesn't amount to anything. Or it can end up to illnesses, especially when you hold things, and negative emotions for that matter, when you hold things inside you and you bottle things up, it's most likely gonna end up as an illness. Or if you turn it outwards, then it becomes aggression, and it becomes anger, and you end up in fights, either verbal or or physical fights with other people, and all are brought about because of low self-esteem. So the thing about the reason why most of us have experiences or have bouts of that is because we base our own worth on external things. We base it on that relationship. So what happens if it's no longer there? Then we start doubting ourselves. We base our self-esteem on a promotion or a job, or on titles or possessions. I live in such a place. I drive this kind of a car. I have this title of, at work. So what happens when all these things are gone? Then they affect us. They affect us in ways that, which is okay for it to affect us, because it's a loss. But now when we define ourselves based on our external possessions, then it tends to hit us like really bad. So it goes back to, when you want to work on your self-esteem, it goes back to what I love talking about, self-awareness. Number one, understand, where does my sense of worth come from? And I do not want to sound spiritual, but it is. You cannot have a sense of self without knowing first where you're coming from. So depending on what your beliefs are, and I'm not here to sell you any beliefs. So what does God say about you? You know, what does the word of God say who about who you are? That's where you first base your intrinsic value on. You know, when you understand that I am worthy and deserving just as I am, I don't need to be this or that, just as I am, as a human being, a being the way I am, not a human doing because I've done this and I've done this and I've done this, then I'm more deserving. No, it's more of understanding I am a human being, and so just because I'm human, number one, I'm deserving. So I don't need to add anything extra to make myself worthy or deserving. That's where like the basics of self-esteem should start. And then just get to understand yourself a bit more. So self-awareness. So what do you like about yourself? You know, what are your strengths? Those are the things that you need to probably work on and get them out even more. What are your weaknesses? Those are the things that you need to work on and probably either minimize them or get to learn how to go around them. You know, what do you enjoy doing? When you start learning more about yourself and falling in love with yourself, then automatically your self-esteem goes up. When you understand who you are as a person and define yourself for yourself, not what society says Alice should be, but what Alice decides as herself, who she should be and what she stands for. Then when you understand and you come from that point, then you understand that all the external things that we place our value on, then they're not supposed to shake you. When people come and tell you, but then you're this and this and this, and it's not so, it doesn't shake you because you understand yourself. You know yourself. But most of the time, we really don't take the time or the journey to get to know ourselves better. We take what, we take what the media says we should want. We take what society says we should want, or what should define us. And then what happens is, if you don't have the roots that you should be having as an individual, then you tend to go with the wind. So if it says twende huku, unaenda huku. If it says okay, twende huku, if it says now this thing is what is in, we all rush to get it. Then if it says okay, now no, that's not in anymore, this is what is in. And that's what marketing is all about. When you're told now this is the latest trend that will make you eat, this is the car that you should drive that people will know sasa umefika, this is where you should be living. When you start defining yourself by those things, my friend, umepotea. Because what happens when one day you wake up and they're not there? It's going to hit you badly. So once you understand, you know what, before, and there's nothing wrong with going for that thing, for those things, please go for them. But first, understand that those things do not define you, and define yourself for yourself. And this happens especially for women. You get into either a long-term relationship and you get married, and then you get children, and then what happens? You center your life around your children and your partner. You forget yourself. So what do? Then you start feeling like you're losing yourself, and then you start becoming a control freak. You want to control your kids, forgetting that your kids will grow up and they will leave. And then when they leave, because you had based your whole life around them, then you don't know what to do with yourself. So you're always trying to involve yourself in their lives. Now, already wakona maisha yao washaendelea. And then what do? You start manipulating them. Oh, I sacrificed for you. You guys don't call me. You guys don't do. Imagine, please, it's okay. You sacrificed for them. But truth be told, they hadn't asked you to. So it's good to have a life for yourself. And also even understanding that I'm playing, first I am Alice. Then Alice is playing these different roles. Alice is a mother. So how does she show up as a mother? Alice is a teacher. How does she show up as a teacher? Alice is a friend. How does she show up as a friend? Alice is a sister. How does she show up as a sister? Alice is a daughter. How does she show up? First, understanding that Alice is fast. So what is Alice before she's a mother, before she is, because another thing is you meet people and you ask them, so tell me more about yourself. And as ladies, we're usually very excited, and there's nothing wrong with that, to explain, oh yeah, I am Mrs. So and so, I'm a mother of 4, they're this old, and you get excited, and then someone says, okay, and then tell me more about yourself. And someone looks at you and goes, what do you mean? But I've told you everything. But it's because we forget ourselves in the process. And then we center our lives around others. And then we are always giving, and we are wondering, okay, why aren't they seeing what we are doing? Why aren't they putting effort to give us as well? And then what happens next? You start building resentment. You start wondering, okay, so these people are just taking, no one is giving. Forgetting that before you even start giving, you need to give yourself first. Give yourself first. Feel yourself first. Define yourself first for yourself. Then go about and play all the roles that you're supposed to do. But first, define yourself for yourself. And that way, your self-esteem will always be, you will always be at a good place, because it's not dependent on what others think about you. It's not dependent on what others do for you. It's not dependent on what others say about you. It's all dependent on you as a person. So for the ones joining now, karibuni sana. We can go to question 2. Please feel free to add your questions. The second question is, good morning, I'm 26 years old and very frustrated because I don't know what my purpose is. Thank you, Triza, for joining in. So, first of all, I'd say at 26, my friend, you're so young. You are so young. You have your whole life ahead. So please, don't be frustrated. I mean, you have your whole life ahead of you. Then, my thoughts on purpose are quite different. Let me put it that way. It's not the usual. The way I look at purpose as something that is already there. It's not something that, you wake up one day and it's like a lost pearl and you find it, or a lost coin and you find it. I don't look at it that way. I look at it as more of an unfolding, like you're peeling an onion, and they're just layers and layers that are just coming up, and you're unfolding into your purpose bit by bit. And the reason that I say that is because I totally believe that at any given point of your life, you're always on purpose, whether you know it or not. Most of the time we don't know it, and once you get something that resonates with you, that's when it hits you. Oh yeah, everything that, when you start looking at your life and just just revisiting and joining the dots. In fact, it said we live our lives forwards, but it makes sense backwards. When you start understanding what the people who came into your life, the events, the situations, everything that happened was supposed to lead you to a particular point in your life, that's when you understand you've always been on purpose. And the other thing I believe about purpose is it's something that you're born with. It's not anything that you get you're at a particular age or a certain point in time and you get it. It's always there with you. You walk with it. It's only that you might not be cognizant of it, but you always have it. And you're born with the gifts and talents that help you, unravel into that purpose. You're born with the gifts and talents that help you shine more in that purpose. And maybe if I was to give my own example, when I look back, the things that I've always enjoyed doing from a very long time ago are things that, when I look back, they've been very much a part of what my purpose has been all along. Like, for example, I've always enjoyed, even when I was a child, I've always enjoyed reading. Like, I would read. When I was young, I remember I used to mark my brother's books and my sister's books. And I remember there's a point I marked my big brother's books, and it was a maths assignment, and he had a very nasty teacher, and he was so mad because he thought he was gonna be beaten. Na mimi nilikuwa nimechukua kitabu nimemark, as in I used to find it so interesting what teachers do. Nimemark kitabu na nikaandika good on his homework before he had even taken it to class, and he was so angry because he thought the teacher would beat him up, and he went to school and the teacher just laughed and gave him his homework book. But when I look at it, because when I look at my own self, I always describe myself as a teacher. So when I look back, even at that point when I was a 4-year-old, I didn't know, but the teacher in me was still, it was still there and still very present. Another thing that I look back and I can connect the dots is when I was a kid, I'd always be told, muongea sana, like I talk too much. And when I look at it, I mean, teachers talk, right? Trainers talk. I'm a trainer. So I was always on purpose when I look back. You know, even in the seasons, welcome James and Yvette, even in the seasons of darkness, you're always on purpose. Sometimes you end up wondering, what the heck? You know, there are detours in life because you had planned, even ndio kunaenda, and then something happens and boom, you know, you're seated on a tarmac, you know, on the road wondering, okay, what next? You're still on purpose. So just understand, purpose is not something that should make you lose sleep, because you're always on purpose. And I keep on saying, your purpose at any given moment is to be present at, you know, wherever you're at. So if you're in this season now, then please be present, be available, learn the lessons for the seasons, because they're going to take you to the next level, the next season that you're in. Another thing, I look at purpose, I keep on thinking, we don't just have one purpose. You know, okay, like we have in different seasons, you'll have different purposes. Like, for example, if let's say you're a mother and you decide to take some time off, and you're deciding to take some time off, and like, let's say you want to take care of your kids. So your purpose in that season would be to be a nurturer, you know. So you cannot say, oh my God, I am so frustrated because I am just here, I'm taking care of these kids, I'm not doing what God had given me as an assignment to do. Your assignment at that point is to nurture those children. It will come to a point where maybe you'll think, okay, maybe I should look for a job, I should do this, I should move on to this phase. Then you just carry that to the next phase. So what's the good thing is to always ask ourselves, so what's my purpose in this season? Then when you look back, you'll always see the general purpose, then every different season aligns to the same thing. And if I was to just go with what the just our definition of purpose is, when you'd like to find what your purpose is, it's so easy. It's a very easy exercise, because the first thing is to ask yourself, what are you really good at? You know, what comes so naturally for you? What do you enjoy doing? For me, I enjoy reading a whole lot. Like I can spend the whole day reading if I could. I enjoy reading, I enjoy dancing, I enjoy working out. So I'd ask myself, so out of this, because your purpose is always something that will add value to other people. It's not just about you, it's about other people around you. So if that's the case, then what is this that I can do that I really enjoy that can add value into people's lives? So at some point I thought, okay, fine, I like dancing, but I'm not about to start being a dancing coach or anything of the sort. It's not for me, but it's something that I really enjoy. I like working out. I am not planning to be a trainer because, oh my God, yeah, it's not for me either. But I love talking, I love sharing, I love teaching. So what can I do with this? And I love reading, which adds for me loads and loads of knowledge. So what can I do with this passion I have for reading, with my own experience, with what I love, which is sharing? What can I do about that? Then you take that and you package it into something that would add value into someone's life. So let's say, for example, if you love cooking, just as an example. So if you love cooking, how can you add value? How can you add value into someone else's life? It could be maybe you have colleagues who maybe are bachelors, or they don't have time to make lunch for themselves, and you can be making and carrying, you can be making and doing deliveries, whatever it is that you enjoy doing. How can you add value to someone that they would want to give, they'd want to pay for it. They'd want to give money in exchange for the value that you're offering. So once you understand that, then everything comes together. But let me emphasize, you're always on purpose. So please don't get stressed about it. You're always on purpose, and your purpose is you're always unfolding into it every single time. And at any given moment, your purpose is to be present. Wherever you are, give it your best as you wait for whatever is going to unfold next. And whatever unfolds next, give it your best again. Eventually you look back and you'll find, you'll be able to connect the dots for you. So I hope that was a good answer. Then the last question, I don't know whether you have any questions on the comment box. Please feel free to add them. I can see I was doing your brother's assignment. It's all right. Hi coach, I loved your post on Seasons of Darkness. I'm currently going through it. How can I make it easier? Oh, that's a good question. So the thing about being in that darkness is it's a very hard place to be at. It's a very uncomfortable place to be at. But the only way you can make it easier for yourself is to accept it. Kubali tu. If you're in a rough place, kubali. If, for example, your wife has left you, please stop hanging her clothes huko nje ndo watu waone bado yuko. Or your mister bado yuko. Accept. If you've lost a job, please stop hanging out and spending so much money trying to cover up that about what is happening. Accept. Acceptance is always the first step to making it easier. Kubali, say, you know what, I'm in this spot. I'm in this spot, and own your feelings. I'm in this spot and I'm angry. I'm in this spot and I am frustrated. I'm in this spot and I'm bitter. I'm in this spot and I don't like it. No, I don't like being here. So just understanding that, James, I'll get to your question shortly. And just understanding that, you know what, I am here, and then instead of wanting to hurry the process, no, ikitu itaisha lini, when will it be over? I want to get out of this darkness. Just learn to sit with it. And I think for me, I found it to be the hardest part. Like saying, okay, fine, we're not running away. We are not denying it anymore. We are not hiding from it. Yeah, so we are here. We are here, we are sitting, we are breathing. And sometimes it's breathing, 2 minutes at a time. 5 ni nyingi, 2 minutes at a time. Sometimes it's even, and I kid you not, sometimes it's 1 minute at a time. Because I remember, when I was going through that process, and I kept on saying a day at a time. Believe you me, there were days, a day was too long. 24 hours, itaisha lini. As in, it was too long. So it went from a day at a time to half a day at a time to 3 hours at a time to 1 hour. I kid you not, at some point it was 60 seconds at a time. And I'd tell myself, Alice, breathe. 60 seconds, Alice, breathe. Okay. 1 minute gone. Alice, breathe again. you're still here. 5 minutes, you're still here. And before you know, the day is gone. And then just when you accept, things become much easier in terms of you're no longer fighting it. It's like you let the chips fall as they may. When you're trying to the more you use energy to try to control stuff, the more you get tired, the more you resist, the more it becomes even more uncomfortable and more harder. And for me, I look at it in terms of that's the point where you really get to know God for yourself. Wacha ile yenye tulifundishwa sijui na pastor catechism, sijui inaitwa Sunday school. No, this one by the way is when the rubber meets the road. You get to understand and connect with God on a personal level. And I now understand the meaning of the Bible verse that the Lord loves a broken spirit. Why? It's because that's when you're able to listen. Because you're no longer holding on to stuff. It's a free flow. Like they say, you're floating. You're no longer trying, you're drowning and you're trying to clutch on things. Float too. And when you float, even in water, when you float, you stop sinking. You come up. So it's the same thing if you're in that season, and it's a very difficult season to be in, and I can totally relate with that. But acceptance and just surrender. Just having those one-on-one conversations with God and saying, I don't know what to do. I am here and I feel like crap. I am here and I am hopeless. Just speak to me. I am here, and today, a day at a time, give me strength for today. And then in that season, you learn how to handle things as they come. You stop worrying about the past, you stop worrying about the future, you actually live in the present moment. And I keep on saying, in the present moment is where God lives. It's eternal, because the present moment is the only thing there is. The past is in our minds, the future is in our minds as well, but the present moment ndio tuko hapa, and that is what life is all about. If you're present, then you'll be able to hear. You'll be able to hear where you're being led. You'll be able to see. You'll be able to have, conversations with people and hear them out. But if you're either stuck in the present stuck in the past or worried about the future, you'll lose out. So just hold on and just learn in the season and just surrender. Then as we finish, I'd love to answer this question from James. How do you cement your identity? Okay, I have no idea what you mean by cement, but I am thinking, which you may correct me, please just feel free to add if I don't get it right, that what you're asking is how do you really get to understand yourself? And if that is the case, then the best way to do it is the way I look at it, yeah? Like, when you're meeting someone and someone new, like probably maybe you're meeting, if you're married, let's say the first day you met your partner, or if you're looking to marry, you're meeting a potential person, and you're very excited to meet them and you want to get to know them. The way you show up with so much psyche and you want to understand them, you want to get to know them, you want to be with them, you just want to hang around them. It's the same thing with yourself. I keep on saying date yourself, understand yourself. Ask yourself questions that you have never asked yourself. Like, for example, you can ask, what do I want? Most of the time, we always know what we don't want. But you ask someone, what do you want? And they go, mom, like, I'm not sure, but I know I don't want this. Yeah, you're focusing on the wrong things. So what do you want? Or even asking yourself, what do I like? So, and maybe if I was to use my own self as an example again, I remember when I was doing this for myself, it was even in as mundane things as glasses. I'd ask myself, Alice, what kind of glasses do you like? So do you like tall glasses? Do you like round glasses? Do you like rectangle glasses? What color of glasses? And then I'd go like, oh, I rectangular. At some point, I used to like rectangular blue glasses, and I'd go and buy myself a set, and just, or maybe even one, and just enjoy having water in that glass. You know, it's something that I have discovered about myself. So, what colors do I like? Why do I even like them? You know, what do I like doing? Why do I like hanging out with this? Okay, who do I like hanging out with them? So why do I even like hanging out with them? It's because there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. So why are those 4, 5 things so important to me? Because of one, you know, just getting to understand yourself more and more and more and more. You just you get to a point where now you can be able to say, by the way, now I understand Alice is about 1, 2, 3. What kind of values does she stand for? She stands for 1, 2, 3. What are her deal breakers in maybe friendships? This. What does she like in people? 1, 2, 3. What can she stand in people? She can't stand lies. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. And so, what does it mean for me? And then, apart from that, then, how am I showing up? How am I showing up for people? What do I want in 1, 2, 3? And then, apart from what do I want, what am I willing to give? Because we always look at, most of the time we look at ourselves, but we also forget we are connecting with people and we are relating with people. So, for this other person, how am I showing up for them? What am I giving in return? You know, and the best is when you get to a point where you've gotten to understand yourself so well. That is what I like calling intra self-awareness. And the way you show up with the world is very consistent with who you are as a person, such that someone can vouch for you and say, but then Alice anakwaga 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And when you come in and say, hey, Nani said or did, and they go like, no, but then I know her and I know for sure I can vouch for her. Akwagivo, and she couldn't have said, I know she couldn't have done. And when you know someone can stand up and back you up like that, or even let's say easiest, when you ask maybe 2 or 3 people around you, so describe me, how would you describe me? If they describe you the way you describe yourself, then you know you've been able to cement your identity. And then the other thing is just you keep on going on and analyzing yourself even as you go on. So if these are my values, did I stand for them today? So if this is the identity I have chosen, because it's something that you choose for yourself, if this is the identity I have chosen for myself, then am I in alignment with it? And the thing about identity is it's very fluid. You know, the person that you are today, maybe tomorrow or probably 2 years or 5 years from now will require a different kind of you, a different character, a different person to come out. Because I can tell you for a fact, the person I was 4 years ago and the person I am today are like totally different people. So different seasons, you know, will come out. You'll get different identities. So it's just understanding for this season. Okay, of course, there's always the basics of Alice is like this, like this, like this. So depending on the seasons, then maybe this type of character will show up more than the other. But it's just understanding, who am I? Who am I? Then am I showing up as that person? Or am I showing up as someone different? Then just every day reinforcing on that. And before you know it, people can be able to describe you and say, James is like this and this and this. But now that's the thing. You have to be very, very, very intentional about what you want your identity to be. Because you don't want to be misconstrued. So it's all about you. Back to you. Be intentional with what you want. Then cultivate it every day. I don't know whether we have any other question. Any question, any comment, any feedback? I'd be happy to read it before we close the session. Whoa, I can see time Peter. And thank you for the three ladies who shared the questions. If you have any other questions, please feel free to share either on this post or on my DM as usual, and I'll be happy to tackle them next week. That's it for today, and have a good Friday. Bye.